I'm Bill Hoverston, an actor, writer, producer, stand-up comedian, and the host of But You're Not Funny, a podcast for young at heart boomers and boomers-to-be looking to live happier and healthier lives. Welcome to But You're Not Funny. Our returning guest is Tim Peering, who's going to take us along for another trip on his e-ticket adventure ride through life. Welcome back, Tim.
Thanks, Bill. It's a pleasure, and I really enjoyed our last session, so I'm ready to move forward.
Great. Well, there was so much good material that we get not one, but two episodes with you.
Great. I'm happy to help and happy to serve in whatever way I can.
Thank you, Tim. In our last episode, you shared with us a diagram that you'd made of your life based on Michael Utvich's work.
Yes.
A pictorial overview of your life that was entitled Life Storyland, kind of like Disneyland with all its various lands.
Yes.
You know, you guided us through your early upbringing in what you called Snowland, Minnesota and Iowa. Okay. Through Marine Land, where life got tougher really fast, yes. Your military service, and martial arts land.
Mm-hmm.
That was black belts in 5 styles of martial arts.
Yeah.
And we also went with you through Skyland, flying planes and helicopters, gyrocopters. You were parachuting, I guess.
Right. And paragliding.
Paragliding too.
Yes, off of mountains, right.
Crazy, man. And then we went into Career Land. Where you were a vice president for one of the top engineering firms in the world.
Yes.
So, Tim, what was so cool to me was that while you were doing and accomplishing so much on the outside, you were also keenly attuned to the inside, seeking a deeper meaning and purpose, and then directing yourself outwards to mentor and help other people. So today we're going to explore more lands with you, Tim, and we're going to start with Career Land.
Okay.
Okay,
Great,
but first I wanted to draw a contrast between the successful career you've had and some of my own fumbling through different odd jobs. And I do mean odd. I once did singing telegrams. Now, you think that sounds great because you dress up in costume, go see somebody, sing happy birthday to them, but the one who enjoys it is the one who paid for the telegram for their friend because they wanted to see the look of embarrassment on their face. Tim, I almost got beat up in an Irish bar once by a guy whose buddy paid me to sing him happy birthday while I was dressed in a gorilla suit.
That's great.
And a woman I was assigned to sing happy birthday to at her all-girl party was upset. She kept waiting for me to strip because she thought her friends had gotten her a stripogram. Here I was, a singing cowboy who was only singing. At least I got paid before.
Well, Bill, all of that seems pretty e-ticket to me for someone who doesn't do e-ticket stuff in their life.
You know, Tim, I once worked a graveyard shift at a convenient food store.
Yeah.
Now, that's when people steal the most stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I could see the mirrors when somebody slipped something into their pocket, and I just happened to know the prices of everything. So I'd add the item to the total when I rang them up at the register. And they were mostly drunk anyway at night. They never noticed. But this one guy, Tim, it was summertime, he stole a package of deli meat. He had a tank top on, no place to hide it, so he slipped it down his pants and into his shorts. I just rang up.
I can see something coming here on, So You're Not Funny, right?
I try not to be, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
But Tim, this dude was not drunk, as it turned out. He looked at the receipt and he frowned. He said, "Hey, what's this charge for?" And I said, "That's for the meat in your pants." made me sound like I was picking up a gay male hooker or something. You know, when somebody gets knocked out, I'm sure you've heard this expression before. They say he gets cold cocked.
Yeah.
It's the first time I heard of a guy cold cocking himself. It all goes into the mix, and the experiences that we have are what make us what we are. So, Tim, at your engineering company, they had ordered you to get rid of a lot of employees, and you were successful in hiding them away. When the time came that they turned around, they said, "Oh, well, we need to hire. We got openings here." Boom, these guys appeared. You pulled them out of the woodwork.
Yeah, what in big companies that are project based, I mean, big projects come in, they do a lot of hiring, and then when the projects go down, they have to scramble to find people. So I had a goal to never lay anybody off. Now that is an impossible goal, but I carried that philosophy in, and it was, Bill, it worked like a charm. Everybody pitched in. We had everybody trying to find everybody else jobs. You know, because in a huge company, we had 1,700 projects. Imagine that, 1,700 projects going on simultaneously. Some were tiny, some were monstrous. All around the company, there are places that you can temporarily put people. So we started a whole thing to find people work, even if it was just a week here, a week there, and so forth. Yeah. And then to fill in the difference, I had a pretty good budget for procedures. And I would grab someone, I'd say, okay, I want you to work on this procedure for 2 weeks. Here's some budget. We did that. And then other people would say, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of vacation. Everybody working it together, we cobbled it together, and we saved all these people. And then when things ramped up again, we had them. And the other thing is, it built incredible loyalty because someone cared. And these guys, some of these guys have been there 20 years, and you know they had their retirement and all. They didn't want to lose that. All of a sudden now you have a group who you can say, would you mind going out to Borneo for 2 weeks on, you know, just some far out horrible place? And you go, no problem, I'll do it. Because
loyalty.
There was loyalty, and you'd taken care of them. They were gonna perform for you.
It's innovative, Tim. In addition to being compassionate and humanitarian, it's an innovative way, and you've built that loyalty that you can't buy that.
That's right. And Bill, it's just a matter of caring about people. In corporations, a lot of time it's just all numbers.
Yep.
God, I hate it when accountants come in because you got to cut here and it's just like it's numbers. It's not people, and the people are so important. If you put them first, they will put you first.
Wow. And I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about the dangerous assignments that you had. Oh my God.
One of the things we did was we neutralized VX nerve agent. Now, VX is a horrible substance. It's like the devil in a bottle. VX is like a pesticide for human beings. Less than a drop in you will kill you. And this stuff, Bill, is like an oil. You pour oil on the ground, you come back 2 months later, that oil's still there.
Oh,
it doesn't evaporate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The U.S. had 30,000 metric tons of this stuff, and Russia had 40,000 metric tons. And it was stockpiled in 7 or 8 sites across the United States. And it was in bombs, it was in mines, it was in artillery shells, it was in big canisters, it was in, there was a wet-eye bomb which had a whole bunch of softball-sized little containers of this thing, and it blow up in the atmosphere, and all these balls would come down and just saturate an area. I mean, it was just, it shows you what fear can do as far as building armaments go. So the US and Russia and some other countries signed an agreement to get rid of this stuff.
Right.
So Parsons, the company I work for, became a niche supplier in how to get rid of this stuff. You have to have all kinds of warning systems and sensors, because if it gets out,
Yes,
it's
the
it's
ultimate
it's
hazmat.
it's yeah, ultimate hazmat.
Situation.
We did that. We did nuclear cleanup too, which is another very dangerous. All these fuel rods and stuff that come out of submarines and all of that. Well, they have half-lives of thousands of years, and they just throw them in a big vat somewhere. And now all this stuff is in these vats. They're up in Washington and they're in South Carolina. And so we and a bunch of other companies go
Yeah.
and build plants to process this stuff. I had 25 managers who directly reported to me, and each one was in charge of a different area. And it was exciting. It was exciting years. I was flying all over the place, and we actually helped Russia get rid of their 40,000 metric tons. Now it's almost gone from everywhere except North Korea has been.
Oops.
Yeah, you could sort of figure that out. At least that scourge is pretty much gone from the earth.
Right. Thank you. Volunteering, your time at Homeboy Industries.
Oh, Linda Nussbaum, who you previously
Yes.
interviewed. Oh, what a fantastic person. I mean, Linda's just amazing. So she goes, I sometimes can't teach my class down there. Could you come in and substitute for me? And I go, sure. And I walk in there. That's a tough crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk about a tough crowd in comedy. You've got, I have not met one person there who has not been to prison. Most of them have been through drugs. And the great majority of them have been in gangs, and they have tattoos sometimes just go over the top of their head and their arms. These are not easy people. They will sniff you out in a millisecond if you're not authentic,
Right.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, I walked into this classroom and had to learn to adapt to not be this teacher up there with all of this stuff, but to pull the wisdom out of them. That was the key. They had wisdom on how to get out of hell because they were in hell. The gangbangers, they've all known tremendous violence, and because of it, they wear armor. They wear psychological and spiritual armor. But once that breaks open, just heart floods out. Father Gregory Boyle is the whole thing's based on love.
Yeah.
He loves the poorest, lowest, sickest, most messed up human beings in the world. There isn't a day down there miracles don't happen.
He's an embodiment of Jesus's message.
He has a sense of humor. He's a regular guy.
Yeah.
And he has put together, this thing is in all these different states of the United States. It's in all these different countries, and it works. You have gang members who would kill each other before working side by side. It's amazing. Like one day I said, do you realize that all these thoughts in your mind are not you? It's more like a radio going off. It's not you. Some people were just stunned at that idea. Oh my God, you mean my thoughts are not me? It's just like you can start to make little important changes in their life, and it makes a huge difference. One day, this guy was like crazy. He was all over the place. He was suffering from drug withdrawal and stuff, and he didn't know if he could continue. And so I just simply went to the room and I said, what would you like to tell him? And a whole bunch of people said, I was there. This is exactly where you go through on your way out of this mess. And 3 or 4 people talked about their journey, and all of a sudden I could see hope light up in his eyes.
Wow.
Because the room brought it out. All I did was call on people.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I've also been doing a lot of meditation. I've become part of a community
Mm.
that studies Tibetan Buddhism, which is very deep, and even into the whole world of dreams.
Dreams, yes.
They call it dream yoga there. But so I picked up another whole family of people, and of course, compassion is a huge thing. Compassion and wisdom are the twin wings. And when you give to others, guess what happens? Your ego shrinks. Your ego is the cause of a lot of problems.
Hmm.
It's the me versus them, and I want this, and and
Right.
once you start to dedicate yourself to service, you will enter another whole way of being. It's magical.
Sure.
Because your ego's going, why should you give stuff? Why should like what's in it for you? Like all of that. You have to turn and find out who that ego is, which is a very narrow slice of who you are
Yeah.
in the whole overview of things. And that's part of what meditation is about.
Hmm.
When your thoughts stop, the very basis of who you are has compassion, it has love, it has a chance to boil up. But it takes a while to get a handle on this and study that. And that's what I'm working on. Yeah, see, I was driven the first part of my life for all this. I was driven.
I was going to make the contrast there. So being driven to succeed, in this case, now being called to become.
To become. I love that, being called to become, for the purpose of
Hmm.
sharing that with others so that you can raise them, help them up.
That's great, Tim. Now we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. This is But You're Not Funny. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit our website, butyou'renotfunny.com. There's three other lands.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let me start with family. Family is so important. At first, I didn't realize it because I was climbing all the mountains. I was getting all the certificates and degrees and so forth.
Right.
But as time went on, oh my gosh, we've got, just the family I grew up with. I Zoom now every week with my family from all over the United States. It's just wonderful. It's just wonderful to
Yeah.
do that, to check in. And every year we do a family reunion. Just we have a riotous good time. And then, Bill, at the Mastery Circle, people say, this is my family of choice,
Mm-hmm. Right.
meaning I choose to be with these people. And the sharing, which comes from the heart, is like
Sure.
unbelievable. There are no groups out there that are like the Mastery Circle.
I haven't met.
We are learning from each other. I feel real blessed to have uh, helped be a part to make that go. And another land was Shadowland.
Shadowland, yes.
Shadowland is all the stuff that you don't like about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that is repressed. It's also all of the things, horrible things that have happened. Carl Jung, I'm a big believer in a lot of his work, and his idea is to let this shadow come up into consciousness
Mm-hmm.
so that it can be released. It can become part of you. And in my studies with Tonglen, what they say is, first of all, you need to have compassion for your unwanted parts.
Mm.
Think of your unwanted parts, the stuff you don't like to look at.
Exactly. Well, one thing that comes to mind, Tim, people who repress their sexuality because they grow up in an environment, political, religious, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they may have desires to do this or that, whatever. It does not get expressed. It gets stuffed and pushed down.
Yes.
And so many times do we see uh, somebody late in life, maybe he's a politician, a minister, what is kind of pushed this side down. All of a sudden, it pops out, just like hello, and it's a big scandal. And this is an example, I think, of what you're talking about, the shadow side that is denied. Carl Jung.
People
Mhm.
go, "Oh, I don't like nightmares." Nightmares are good.
Why? Tell us
Nightmares
why.
are,
Why are nightmares good, Tim?
they're showing you where you have trapped energy, which is sapping you. And if it's like you said, the guys in later years where it just explodes out, if you don't allow that to be free, it will control you. You'll project it out on other people and so forth. I originally grew up as a Catholic,
Right,
and there's a lot of guilt in there, and and hell, and sexuality is really repressed.
right.
And now we're seeing all of these scandals in the church with these priests and young boys. And if you repress that sexuality, it's going to come out in a warped way. Where you need to go with this is to just get vulnerable and to explore it and look
Mhm.
at it and let it come up, so that life energy is released and liberated, so that you can live again.
Here, here. It is. Tim, would you care to say a word about, or more than a word about Questland? That's your final land in
Yes, it is.
your Disney.
Let me start with, I'm this young boy growing up, and grew up as Catholic, and I went to church. And at some point, and maybe it was because of martial arts or whatever, I got very interested in Zen because of the mind.
Mhm.
And so I studied that, and I was taking karate and judo at the time, and then I swung back into Christian evangelism because it had so much spirit. But God was always out there somewhere,
Yeah.
and there was some priest or some minister who was going to be your bridge there. You didn't experience God, you didn't experience the spirituality inside yourself, which is
Mhm.
called Gnosticism, or the Sufism,
Mhm.
or different religions have different places where there's a group
Mystical,
that,
the mystical
the
traditions.
mystical tradition, exactly, Bill. And that was my quest. And my quest was, who is God? Who am I? Where am I at my very depths?
Mhm.
And so right now I'm looking at Tibetan Buddhism, not looking at them. I'm doing a lot of work and studying, even Advaita Vedanta, which is non-dual reality. It's Ramana Maharshi and
Okay.
Punjaji. Those are great saints from India. And when your mind stops, or when your mind subsides, which is the basis of all meditation, you enter an internal moment here, which there's pure beingness, and it expands and it expands and it expands and it expands, like infinitely, in which everything is possible and everything is present.
Right.
So anyway, Bill, I was on a quest ever since. No matter what I was doing with my family or martial arts or Skyland or Careerland,
Uh-huh.
I was on a quest.
If I can interrupt for just a quick second to remind you of one time, Tim, you invited me to an ayahuasca ceremony.
Oh, yes.
My first experience, it was in the context of a Christian
Yes.
church service with
Yes.
liturgy and hymns, Christian
Yes.
hymns, and so forth, and then taking of this ayahuasca plant, the roots and the leaves
Yes.
were mixed together. I experienced a religious vision.
Yes.
So that it obviously definitely worked for me. I think if I'd been watching a horror movie while I drank this stuff, my head would have gone there. But it was presented, it was done in that context, and for me, that made all the difference. And thank you again for that opportunity.
Yes, Bill, you're exactly right. With the substances which are called sacraments,
Okay.
pretty much every culture before ours has sort of blessed that. And you had shamans and you had religious groups.
Mm.
The Indians had peyote, the South Americans have ayahuasca. So I'm eternally grateful to that path. However, it's a warrior's path. It's incredibly difficult. Right now, I'm doing a lot of dream work and dream yoga and dream visions. It's a lot safer,
Yeah.
just takes more work than drinking a substance. But you can go to all these places and visit and do all of these things in a much more stabilized way. So everybody has visions. In fact, I'm going to read from Carl Jung. We have forgotten the age-old fact that God speaks chiefly through dreams and visions.
So
Beautiful
if we go
saying.
to church and we see somebody sleeping in the pew, maybe they're dreaming. No, who
Very good,
knows?
Bill.
Or maybe not.
But you are funny.
Well, thank you for
Bill, one more quick one from Carl
yes,
Jung.
please.
Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. And that's another topic about how we are actually living in a dream world in our daily life, and
Yeah.
it's illusory.
You mentioned Zen before, and the fascination is in being with that, in that state of illogic. And as an engineer, I imagine that had to be pretty tough for you to.
Very tough.
Yeah.
To have both of those.
Right. That's great. Tim, this has been an incredible experience with you today. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you, Bill. It's been a real pleasure. I mean, time flew. We talked and talked, and all of a sudden, a long time had passed.
Here it
Didn't
is.
even notice it.
It's tomorrow already, it seems. Thank you so much. My name is Bill Hoverston, and this is But You're Not Funny. For more information, you can see us on YouTube. You can hear us on all audio platforms, podcast platforms. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye. Thanks for listening to But You're Not Funny. Please subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Bill Hoverston. You can see my work at billhoverston.com. It's been a pleasure.